Now we come to the first chapter of the bio textbook, that is transport in plants. We had done earlier ecosystem, that was the third chapter, but now we come to the first chapter, that is transport in plants. Now, in case of a human body, we know that we have got a complete transport system in our body. Like the blood is the one which is going to transport everything, whatever is being generated by the body, to the different parts of the body. So we have got a particular transport system over here. But in case of plants, they do not have a heart or a blood which is going to keep on flowing and carry the nutrition from the bottom to top and everywhere. It is not going to be as simple as the human body. So there, the transport of the nutrients is going to be almost like two ways. That only one way, not two ways. It will be only one way. Like for example, the nutrients what the plant is going to get from the soil is going to be dissolved in the water, absorbed by the roots, and then transmitted from the roots to the upper parts of the body of the plant, right? Similarly, the nutrients which are going to be generated by the plant by photosynthesis, that is the starch or the glucose what is being manufactured by the plant by doing the process of photosynthesis, is going to be carried to the lower part of the plant, or maybe even some of the upper part also of the plant in a one unidirectional manner. So you can see there is not a circular cycle type of thing, that thing is is just moving round and round around the body and spreading that particular nutrients within the body. So here the transport mechanism is single line from roots to the upper parts with the help of the water which is coming from the roots to the upper part of the plant, and the food material which is being produced from the upper parts to the lower parts of the plant. So that's why we have only two kind of system in the plant transport system. So let's see what we have in this chapter. The first thing is that we have already learned the plants can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. During this process, plants use carbon dioxide and water. They get carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and water from the soil. The water along with minerals is absorbed by the plants from the soil through their roots. They are then transported upwards to various parts of the plants. So we see that the plant is going to prepare their own food. That preparation of the own food is in the form of a starch. This is done with the help of the process called photosynthesis, which uses two things as ingredients. The raw materials required for photosynthesis are carbon dioxide and water. So what is required is CO2, that is carbon dioxide, and water, which is H2O. These are the two things which are going to be required by the plant for photosynthesis, and in turn it produces glucose, which is C6H12O6. Not required to understand, but anyway, you can know this thing. So the process of this and this is photosynthesis. Combining to form this is photosynthesis. This is done in presence of sunlight. So carbon dioxide is getting carbon dioxide from the air. The air contains some percentage of carbon dioxide, 0.03. So that is carbon dioxide. Water it is getting from the roots. So roots se pani upar jata hai, and it is helping in the process of photosynthesis. And then it is transported to the various parts of the plant. So once it is produced, it is transported to various parts of the plants. Similarly, the water which is taken in by the roots is going upwards and going to the various parts of the plant. Similarly, the leaves prepare the food from the water and carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, and this food is transported to all parts of the plant including roots. So because roots also require some nutrition, so that nutrition what is going to require is going to be available from the photosynthesis what is being done, and then photosynthesis ka jo outcome hai, that is going to the roots for providing the energy to the roots. Besides absorbing water and minerals from the soil, roots also fix the plant firmly to the ground. So roots has got two functions. One thing is to take in water and give it to the different parts of the plant. Second important thing is firm fixing of that particular plant into the soil. The roots has got an anchoring effect. They are like spreading inside. So when they spread inside, they get locked inside the soil so that the plant has got a firm hold or firm support inside the soil. So that is why the soil, the roots are going to place the plant firmly in the soil, in the ground. Transportation in plants is the process in which substances absorbed or synthesized as one part of the plant are moved to other parts of the plant. So what do you mean by transportation over here is transportation is meaning over here is that it is going to move or it is going to the substances which are absorbed or synthesized by one part of the plant is being taken or moved to another part of the plant. So movement of the food material produced or movement of the water which is being absorbed by the plant, everything when it is moved to the different parts of the plant, it is called as transportation in plants. Now the transportation plant, as I said, is going to be of two things. One is the water with the minerals coming from the roots going up to the upper part of the plant. This is done. So we see the water. The water is going to be moving upwards in the form of a tubular vessel called as xylem. So xylem vessels are the one which are going to be helping the plant. Okay, it is going to help the plant to take in water and transport it to the upper parts of the plant. So transportation in plants is carried out by the conducting system consisting of two tissues, the xylem, which is for the water, and the other one is for the food. So for the food, what it is going to be there, it will be the phloem. So phloem, xylem and phloem are the two vascular bundles, or we can say the two kind of conducting system which are going to help the plant to transport the food and the water within the plant. So they are also called as vascular bundles. Okay, they are made up of blood vessels. They are made up of muscle vessels. So muscle are basically kind of cell tissues. So tissue vessels. That's why they are called as vascular bundles. Okay, they are vascular bundles. Transport of water and minerals, the first part. You already learned about the conducting tissues of the plants, xylem and phloem. So first xylem. Xylem cells are thick-walled and form a tubular passage for water. Okay, so they are thick-walled and form a tubular passage. जैसे एक सेल है, एक सेल का इधर, दूसरा सेल, तीसरा सेल, ऐसे करके they form cell one upon the other and they are hollow between. So it allows the passage of water through them. So xylem cells are thick-walled and form a tubular passage for water and minerals absorbed from the soil by the roots. The xylem takes water and minerals to other parts of the plants. The xylem tissue consists of four types of cells: xylem trachea, xylem vessels, xylem fibers, and xylem parenchyma. So, if you see a particular xylem vessel, you can see as per the diagram over there. So you can see the first one is the tracheas. Now tracheas are elongated dead cells. So these are one cell, they are just elongating it, and दूसरा एक cell, फिर दूसरा एक cell, ऐसे करके the cells are just going to be there. So if this is one cell, this is another cell, this is another cell. They are just elongated cells which are going to get thickened, and their intermediate part is going to be removed so that they form a tube-like structure. So they are elongated dead cells with tapering ends. Their walls have thickening of different types. They help to upward conduction of water and provide mechanical support. So because they are dead cells, so that's why they are not going to get shorter or smaller or bigger, nothing happens. It is going to remain like this, and they form a kind of a tubular structure or tube for the water in that, and also mechanical support is given by this particular tracheates. Vessels are tube-like structures placed one above the other, forming long channels. So there are also similar kind. There are these vessels which are long channel-like structures. They are open at both ends. The xylem vessels have various types of thickening in the tracheates. They provide mechanical support and also transport water and mineral salts laterally and vertically upwards. So these vessels, they are going to be like see, it's a complete thickened part over here. So here there will be, the vessels will be over here. This will be like a vessel over here. So there is allowing the water to come inside, and they not only go upwards but even go laterally. Yeah, laterally bhi agar jahan pe branches वगैरह है, so it can go even laterally, so that it can supply water to the different parts of the plants laterally too. The next is fibers or scalenchymatous fibers. They are long, narrow and tapering at both ends. They provide only mechanical support. So see, these all things, they require a mechanical support continuously. So one is tracheates, they are already giving the mechanical support, but apart from that there are also fibers around it which is giving mechanical support to these particular vessels. So that's why they are called as scalenchymatous fibers. Now last one is parenchyma, are living cells. They help in conduction of water and minerals and serve as a storage of food. So apart from this, there are also some living cells. Up till now, what we saw were all the dead organs. They all were dead ones. These were the dead ones. Trachea were dead ones. The vessels were dead ones. The fibers which were there, which were dead ones. But then you need something which is living, which will continuously take in some amount of food material for it and give it for storage, or it will be helping in conduction of water. So that is why there is something which is called as parenchyma or living cells. Okay, parenchyma are living cells, and they help in conduction of water and minerals and serve for storage of food. So the main function of the xylem is upward conduction of water and dissolved minerals from the roots to different parts of the plant. Simple thing, roots में से लिया और पानी ऊपर डाला. That water already contains some minerals because minerals are found in the soil, dissolved in the water. So accordingly, the conduction of the upward conduction of water and the dissolved minerals is going to take place with them. Now xylem vessels and tracheates help in the conduction. So tracheates and the vessels, they help in the conduction. Now tracheates and xylem fibers provide, and the other ones, so that is the tracheates and the xylem fibers, and provide the mechanical support, while parenchyma stores food. So the four things जो थे अपने, tracheates and vessels for conduction, tracheates also for support structure. Along with that, the xylem fibers also give support and protection, mechanical support and protection, while the parenchyma is for storage of food. Okay, so stores food is the parenchyma. So these were the four parts of xylem. Tracheates का function क्या था? Passage of food, passage of water. At the same time, it also gives support. Vessels, purely conduction of water. Third, fibers mainly support will be done with the help of fibers. And finally is parenchyma is storage of food. So that was the four parts of xylem. Next we see is phloem. So the next part of conducting tissues of the plant is the phloem. So that is phloem. So phloem is also a complex permanent tissue specialized to transport organic food manufactured by leaves to various parts of the plant. It is a part of the vascular bundle, and also along with xylem, extends all along the length of the plant body in the root, stem, branches and leaves. So along with the xylem, phloem also flows throughout the complete network of that particular plant. प्लांट के पूरे नेटवर्क में, लीव्स में, ब्रांचेस में, स्टेम में, रूट्स में, सब जगह पे जैसे जाइलम जाता है वैसे phloem भी जाता है. So it's a vascular bundle which is flowing along with the xylem, but mainly concerned with the conduction of the food which is manufactured or which is produced by the plant by photosynthesis. Phloem is formed of living as well as dead cells, same way as the xylem. These cells are of the following four types: sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. So there are four kinds. First is sieve tubes. Sieve tubes, छन्नी, small hole वाले रहते हैं जिसमें हम लोग normally कोई भी छन्नी, you know, the basically tea leaves वगैरह के लिए भी जो use करते हैं, that is nothing but the sieve. So similarly, these are sieve tubes. So what are sieve tubes? Formed of sieve cells form the main conducting part of the phloem. These are cylindrical cells arranged in vertical rows, joined end to end. Their end walls are perforated by pores and are called sieve plates. So basically क्या है कि यहाँ पे this is the cell wall, so this will be cell wall and there will be sieve tubes over here. So this sieve tubes over here, they will be having this perforated part over here, that so that the food doesn't just flow down completely, but it is hold over here so that it can go laterally also in this way. Okay, the main thing of the sieve tube is not allow it to just by gravity, but otherwise what will happen? The food which is produced by the leaves will immediately fall down into the ground or into the root side by just the presence of gravity. पर यहाँ पे क्या होता है, वो रुक जाता है, बीच में अटक जाता है. अटकता है तो it is having a chance to move in the lateral direction also. Phloem, yeah, so sieve tubes, these are cylindrical cells arranged in vertical rows, joined end to end. The end walls are perforated by pores and are called sieve plates. Through these sieve plates, food material passes from cell to cell. So it is going to pass from cell to cell by this sieve tubes. The next one are companion cells. Companion cells are associated with sieve tubes. These are elongated, thin-walled parenchyma cells. Parenchyma cells means living cells. So that's why companion cells are connected to these sieve tubes and they are living cells. And the adjacent companion cell helps sieve tubes in the conduction of food material. So these are the living cells or parenchymatous cells which are helping the sieve tubes to conduct the food material from one cell to another cell. The next is phloem parenchyma. So again, a living cell is formed of thin-walled, unspecialized parenchyma cells. These cells store food. So the only purpose of parenchyma cells, we can see even in the xylem it was the same thing. Parenchyma का main काम एक ही था and वो था storage of food. वैसे ही यहाँ पे भी phloem parenchyma का एक ही काम है, that is storage of food. And finally, phloem fibers. What was the xylem fiber doing? Protection and the mechanical support. The same way over here. Phloem fibers are dead sclerenchyma fibers formed of elongating cells. These provide mechanical strength. So we remember this way that if it is a fiber, whether it is a phloem fiber or xylem fiber, the main purpose of the fiber is to give protection and to have mechanical strength. Okay, so this is phloem fibers. So the main function of the phloem are as follows. Sieve tubes conduct organic food from the leaves to all other region of the plant up to the root and to the storage organs. So all the fruits what we are having and everything are the storage organs of the plant. So whatever food they are preparing, that food which is prepared is first going to the different parts of the plant, including the roots and everything, and then it gets stored in one or the other plant body as storage. Phloem fibers provide mechanical support. Phloem parenchyma helps in the storage of organic food. So we see that fibers, phloem fiber, mechanical support, and phloem parenchyma is storage of organic food. The roots alone can absorb water, whereas the leaves or stem cannot. So this is the main part, that the complete body of the plant is such that even if we are pouring lots of water, like if it is a rainy season, suppose we are going to put it this way that the ground is completely made waterproof, that the soil doesn't get water at all, everything is flowing down somewhere, and the complete पानी के ऊपर बारिश पानी ऊपर तो गिर रहा है ट्री के ऊपर, but still the tree will not get even a single drop of water, because the absorption of water in the plant is going to take place only and only through the roots. So the roots is the only place of the plant where absorption of water takes place. In fact, the leaves are such that they have a waxy coating which makes it waterproof. So that's why leaf is completely waterproof. So even if you pour water on it, it is not going to absorb the water at all. So the only thing possible for a plant to absorb water through it is the root, and so that's why they are given that activity over here कि जहाँ पे उन लोग ने एक particular test tube के अंदर root के साथ में डाला है और दूसरे में root के बिगड़ डाला है, और so we'll find that one which is the root with the roots will have the water entering into the plant body. So where there will be a water change will be taking place, change of water level is going to take place. Whereas the one in which the plant is going to be having no roots on it, so that will be not be showing any fall on the plant in the water level. So we see that in the observation wise, the first one is when there is no plant, the water level remains unchanged, so no loss of water. In plant B, water level falls not by evaporation but because oil is present, so evaporation nahi ho raha hai. So water is absorbed by the plant through its root dipped in the water. And next one is water level falls just as in the tube B, but here the veins in the well have taken up the red color, so you can see that the water has been absorbed by the plant. To show that the water has been absorbed, we have dyed the color of the water to be red, so we can see the veins of the leaves will be red in color. Water got into the plant through the roots and reached the leaves, and finally the leaves are shriveled up in the last one because the roots are not able to reach the water. So that's the reason the leaves lost water by evaporation, and that could not replace by the absorption through the roots. So this is how the experiment shows that absorption of the water takes place by the roots. Next what we see is the transport of food. So during photosynthesis, the plants produce their food as glucose, which is stored in the form of starch. This starch is transported in the form of sucrose solution through the phloem. So the first thing is going to happen is I showed you that time C6H12O6 is glucose. So carbon dioxide plus water is going to form glucose. This glucose is going to get converted into a bigger molecule called as a sucrose, and this sucrose is unlike the xylem. The phloem is a living tissue. It consists of living cells called sieve tubes. So the food produced in the leaves enter the phloem cells and is transported upwards and downwards to all parts of the plant, including its roots. This is called as translocation of solute. So food is going to be translocated or moved from one point, from its point of manufacturing to the different parts of the plant by translocation, which is done with the help of phloem. Now we talk about the absorption of water by the roots. So water absorption by the roots. One second. So we very well know that water is going to be absorbed immediately by sunlight. So if you take a dry cotton and put it in water, automatically the water is getting absorbed inside the cotton. So that basically what is going to happen is called as capillary action. So that is because there is a very narrow pathway. So similarly, such a thing happens in the roots also. The roots has got a very narrow pathway. So water reaching there immediately sucked up inside the root. So we are familiar with the absorption of water by blotting paper or a cotton dipped in water. In both cases, water is absorbed by the property of capillarity or attraction of the water molecules towards the narrow spaces. So narrow spaces में वो खींच के ऊपर आ जाता है, and surface tension. But the absorption of water of the roots is quite different. To understand it, let us first consider the structure of the root. So roots system of the plant consists of the main root, which gives out lateral branches. So it will be like this, that there will be a main root over here, and then there will be lateral branches and there will be sub branches and the rootlets. So that's why it is going to be always in form of high surface area. The surface area will be extremely high because it is in parts. So that's why the first one is lateral branches. The lateral branch roots bear a large number of fine outgrowth called root hairs. Root hair given below is the magnified view of the root hair. They are given this particular figure over the root hair, which has got a long protuberance of a epidermal cell of the root. So the root hair is like this, that it is going to be something like this. This is the root hair. So this is the root hair. So this is protruding outside, which is allowing the water to get absorbed over there. This cell, being a part of the cell, has an outer cell wall and an inner cell membrane. The cell membrane being freely permeable, cell wall being freely permeable, allows all substance to pass through it. The thin inner cell membrane allows water molecules to pass through but prevents the other larger molecules. Such a membrane is called a semi-permeable membrane. So now, let's understand the structure of the cell root hair first. So when we see the root hair, it is made up of these cells. So it is going to be like this. So here there is the cell over here, here is another cell over here, and there is another cell over here, another cell over here. Now this everything is covered by an outer which is called a cell wall. The cell wall is made up of freely permeable. That means it allows anything to come inside and anything to go outside. So it is not obstructing anything to enter inside this particular root hair. That is cell wall. But the cell membrane over here, it is semi-permeable. Semi-permeable means it is going to allow only certain thing to allow inside and certain thing to go outside. It will not allow everything to go inside and everything to come outside. Semi-permeable means like a security guard in your society. He allows only certain people to enter inside and certain people to go outside. So here, this way, the cell membrane is semi-permeable, allowing only water to enter inside and not allowing the larger substances to enter inside the cell, inside the cell or inside the plant body. The cell membrane encloses the cytoplasm and its content. This facilitates the movement of the water and dissolved minerals in it. So this basically helps. The cell membrane is enclosed in this particular cytoplasm over here. So cell membrane encloses the cytoplasm और cytoplasm वो पानी को अंदर लेता है और जो भी चीज बाहर फेंकना है वो बाहर फेंकता है. So facilitates the movement of the water and dissolved minerals into it. The cell sap in the cell is more concentrated as it contains more solute compared to the surrounding soil water. So basic thing over here is that the cell sap, that is the content of the cell inside this root hair, will be such that it will have more solute. More solute यानी more salts. उससे क्या होगा? More salts होने के कारण पानी अंदर तुरंत आएगा because it will try to dilute that thing. So hence, this cell sap will always be such that it will allow more water to be absorbed. The cell sap ka concentration will always be such that it is having a higher amount of solute, so that compared to the outer soil water, so that the water can enter inside this particular root hair or the cell it's the cytoplasm. So accordingly, the speciality of the root hair is that the root hair are suited for absorbing water for the soil in three ways. First one, the numerous root hair provide a large surface area. More the surface area, greater the absorption. You can see too many root hairs. So these many root hair gives you more surface area. It's something like if I hold my hand like this and put it inside something, what will happen? It is going to cover only this much part. But if I put it like this and put it inside, then what happens? It covers this, everything. So more the surface area, more the possibility to absorb things. Hence, root hair has got a very large amount of surface area because it has got root hair or too many root hairs over there. Root hair contains cell sap, which is of a higher concentration than the surrounding oil. I told you about the concentration of the soil or of this particular cell sap. It has got higher concentration so that water can enter inside more easily from outside. And lastly, the cell wall is fully permeable, that is permits movement of all types of substances, but the cell membrane is partially permeable or semi-permeable. It allows only certain substances to pass through it. Such a membrane is called as semi-permeable membrane, also called as selectively permeable membrane. So thus we see that the nature of semi-permeable membrane can be illustrated by this particular activity. Just the activity is simple. You are just going to take some raisins, dry grapes, kismis, पानी लो, उसके अंदर डालो. What will happen? वो after a few minutes or after a few, maybe half an hour or so, it will swell up. Why? Because the concentration of that particular sugar inside the grapes was much more, so it absorbed the water inside, so it became वो फूल जाता है, okay, it swelled up. Now take a sugar solution and put some grapes inside, proper grapes inside. What will happen? थोड़े टाइम के बाद grapes पूरा फूट जाता है, बर्बाद हो जाता है. क्यों? Because sugar solution में sugar जाता है, grapes में पानी जाता है, so water is going to move from a higher level to lower level. इसीलिए grapes में पानी जाता है, so it goes from the grapes to the sugar solution. So the grapes are going to rupture. So this is how the water is going to move in and out the cell. Water always moves from higher level to lower level. अगर soil में पानी ज़्यादा है तो वो plant में जाएगा, पर अगर plant में पानी ज़्यादा है तो वो soil में जाएगा. It normally doesn't happen, but it could be that way. So that's why the semi-permeable membrane lies between the water on one side and a strong sugar solution on the other side. While the sugar solution has a higher concentration of sugar molecules, there are no sugar molecules in the water. So if I consider that this is one particular kind of a membrane. So this membrane is such that it is going to be a division between sugar solution and water. So if there is a division between the sugar solution and water, so there will be small particles, small gaps available over here for the movement. So you will find the sugar will never go this way. It will only be the water which is going to come in and pass through this particular thing, because water goes from higher level to lower level over here, whereas the sugar molecules will remain intact over here. So while the sugar solution has a higher concentration of sugar molecules, there are no sugar molecules in the water. In other words, we can say that there are more water molecules on the left side of the membrane than in the sugar solution on the right hand side. So you can see, मैंने उल्टा लिखा है, but it will be this way. Sugar over left and right will be just ulta over here. After some time, you will notice that the strong sugar solution has become diluted. It is because the water molecules from the other side has moved into the sugar solution. So the water has moved into the sugar solution. Hence, the concentration of the sugar solution has got down. That means it has got diluted. Now, such a movement of water molecule from a dilute solution to a concentrated solution, so from a dilute solution to a concentrated solution across a semi-permeable membrane is known as osmosis. So, very, very important, osmosis. So, when the water molecules move from a higher concentration to a lower concentration, passing through a semi-permeable membrane, the process is called as osmosis. I repeat again, when the water molecules move from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, यहाँ पे पानी जाता है, शुगर बिल्कुल नहीं है, यहाँ पे शुगर जाता है पर पानी बिल्कुल नहीं है, इसीलिए यहाँ पे पानी का लेवल लोअर concentration में है, यहाँ पानी का लेवल higher concentration है. So water moves from higher concentration to lower concentration, but it is passing through what? A semi-permeable membrane. So when it is passing from a higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane, that process is called as osmosis. So movement of water molecules from a dilute solution to a concentrated solution across a semi-permeable membrane is known as osmosis. We'll stop the video here.